What is up, my friends? Welcome into another episode of the Run Your Day podcast. As always, Dan Hafner joining you here this morning. It is Thursday morning, my friends. Today's topic is this: once impossible, now easy. As always, thank you all for joining. Sit back, relax, and enjoy today's episode. All right, my friends. So yesterday we talked about a weird, identical, strange world, and I hope you weren't super creeped out by it and you came back to listen today. But today we're going to talk about this interesting topic, and I'm by no means do I claim to be any kind of expert on this, but it's something that I have been trying to implement in my life here lately, and I just kind of wanted to share with you guys because it's been really, really effective for what I've been learning. So the concept is this: we all do things that are impossible, whether we believe it or not. Like, you can do impossible things right now as you are today, whether you're out of shape, whether you're not in the job you want, whether you are, you could run a marathon today if you really, really wanted to. Like, you are capable of superhuman feats, right? On the other side of this, you've also learned throughout your life how to do things that you thought were once just absolutely impossible, and they're now, like, you don't even think about them, right? When you were a kid, before you knew how, brushing your teeth was a literally impossible task, right? Like, how did you know how to do that? You learned, right? And it might have been hard at first. I don't know. Like, I know brushing your teeth is pretty easy for a lot of kids and people and stuff, but maybe you found it hard, and now you can do it while talking on the phone and riding driving in the car or doing whatever else you do, right? And that's another thing. Like, maybe riding a bike was impossible. It was impossible for all of us at one point. Like, as a newborn baby, you cannot ride a bike. You learned, you developed other skills, you developed balance, you developed hand-eye coordination, right? And now, there's a saying, it's just like riding a bike. You just pick it back up, right? So those are just two small examples of things. But, think of things that you have done in your past that, even at your job maybe, that you thought were once, when you first took the job and you're like, how am I ever going to do this? This is seems like I don't know how to do that. And they're like, yeah, that's the point, because you've never had this job before and you're not supposed to know how to do it, right? And now you do it without even thinking, without being told, without having to think about it and plan for it and do whatever. You just do it, right? So this concept is pretty, basic, but it's not something a lot of us think about a lot, right? So what the whole exercise is to think of something that you have that was once impossible for you. And I mean, literally impossible. Even if you just think about it in a current job or a previous job you had, or, a relationship, or even just lifting weights is a good one for this. Like, if you thought at one point bench pressing 200 pounds or doing 100 push-ups or whatever it might be in your particular situation, there was something that you can do now that was once impossible for you. Like, for me, doing this podcast every single day was once impossible for me. Like, I was scared about it. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to talk. I didn't know what to use. I didn't know how to, say things, how to, compilate the show notes. I didn't know how to do it. It was literally an impossible thing. So I went out and learned how to do it. And now I just flip on my computer, hit record, start talking, and I know what I'm going to talk about, and I know what I'm going to say. I know the progression of things. I know what I'm getting at, right? And there's days I ramble. I get it. Like there's days my point doesn't come across right. I don't speak right. I make some mistakes. That's just part of it. But the whole point of it is that this was once a literally impossible thing for me to do. I didn't know how to do it. Now I come on here every single weekday and do a show for you guys, without thinking about it. It's a habit. It's something that I've committed myself to, and it's become easy, right? So it comes back to habit creation as well, that we've talked about before, but that's not what I'm talking about today. What I'm talking about is you severely underestimate your own power. You severely underestimate your own capabilities and what you can actually do. And one way to overcome that is through this exercise. So I'm going to work through the challenge with you guys here right now. And what I want you guys to do is take out a piece of paper and a pen and write down 3 things in your life at one point. They can be small, they can be large, whatever. 3 things that were once impossible for you to do, right? 3 things that were just once impossible for you to do that are now easy. Brushing your teeth, riding a bike, combing your hair. They can be small things like that. They can be related to your job, whatever domain of your life, okay? Now what I want you to do is think of 3 things that are impossible for you right now that you want to become easy at some point in your life, right? So write down 3 other things that are impossible for you to do now that you want to have come easily into your life, right? So that's my challenge for you today. Now, I'll work through a little bit more of this in a couple future episodes that I want to talk about. Excuse me, but the whole point of this is to look in that and see that like you have overcome impossible things in your life already. What makes you think that you can't overcome impossible things in the future? Right? Like why do you think that? It's not true. You can overcome those things. You can make those things easy. They are not impossible. Impossible just says, I dare you to try, right? It's only impossible until someone actually does it. And then it's possible. And then it becomes easy, right? So that's my question. That's my challenge for you guys today. Hope you guys like this episode. We're going to talk a little bit more about this, like I said, in a couple future episodes. But it's an interesting exercise and something that I've found a lot of value in. Like one of mine was, to actually, be able to produce this podcast in terms of down the road. Take it to a whole different level, have, additional content, video content, things like that are like impossible for me right now. I don't have the ability, I don't have the equipment, I don't have the different things to be able to do that, but I want to be able to do that. And at some point in the future, it will be easy for me to do all that. Right now it's impossible, but it's not impossible forever. So that's going to wrap up today's show. As always, thank you all for joining. Appreciate you guys coming on today. This is Dan Hafner signing off. Make it a great rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to the Run Your Day podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, feel free to share today's show with friends and family. Until next time, have a great day.